Good afternoon, everyone. Today, we are going to discuss the topic erythroblastosis fetalis. Now, first of all, let us have a look of the topic that we have discussed yesterday because this topic is related to that. Yesterday, we have discussed about the Rh blood grouping, right? On the surface of the RBC, suppose here I am drawing the RBC. On the surface of the RBC, if Rh antigen is present, then your blood group will be positive, Rh positive, like A positive, B positive. This positive indicates the presence of the Rh antigen on the surface of the RBC. And if this Rh antigen is not present on the surface of the RBC, then the blood group will be Rh negative, like A negative, B negative, O negative. The negative word, it came from this antigen only. If A positive blood group is there, it means Rh antigen is present. I'm just talking about positive and negative. Okay. A negative means Rh antigen is absent. Now, today we have to discuss the topic erythroblastosis fetalis, right? Erythroblastosis fetalis. This is a case where Rh incompatibility have been observed. Now what is the meaning of that? Suppose there is a mother, a pregnant lady is there. Okay, she is pregnant and she is having Rh negative blood group. Means she is not having the Rh antigen on the surface of the RBC. The mother is not having the Rh antigen. Now she is pregnant. Suppose in the womb of the mother, womb means the uterus, where the fetus develops for the 9 months. So suppose in the uterus of that mother, fetus is present as she is pregnant. Okay, now that fetus is Rh positive. Now try to understand. The mother is Rh negative. But in the womb of the mother, fetus is present and that fetus is Rh positive. Are you getting? Now what will happen? If this is the first pregnancy, then there will be no problem. If this is the case of first pregnancy, then there will be no problem because the blood of the fetus and mother, they will not get mixed. But during the time of delivery is basically known as parturition. During the time of the delivery, what will happen? There is probability that blood of the fetus might get mixed with the blood of the mother. Now delivery is there, delivery has been occurred, now the fetus has been ejaculated out from the body of the mother. Now the first fetus is safe, fine, there is no problem. But due to that delivery, the blood of this fetus, it has been mixed with the mother's body. Now the blood of the fetus was Rh positive. It was having the Rh antigen. Now after delivery, what will happen? Now the delivery is there, first baby is safe. But in the body of the mother, Rh positive blood of the fetus has entered. Rh positive blood of the fetus has entered. Now what the mother will do? Positive means Rh antigen has entered in the mother's body. Mother's is Rh negative. She is not having Rh antigen. Due to delivery, due to the first baby, Rh antigen has entered in the mother's body. Now the mother's body will start making the antibodies against the Rh antigen. Are you getting? So now what the mother will do? The mother will now start making Rh antibodies, or you can say the mother will start making antibodies against the antigen Rh. Okay. Now what will happen in the subsequent pregnancies? First pregnancy was safe. The baby has been delivered. But due to that, there is mixing of the Rh positive blood with the mother. Now the mother has started preparing the antibodies against that antigen. Now what will happen in the case of the second pregnancy or third or fourth in the subsequent pregnancy means basically now in subsequent pregnancy, suppose the same condition is there. Mother is Rh negative, obviously it will not change. Now again the fetus is Rh positive. Okay. Mother is negative and fetus is Rh positive. Now what will happen? Mother is Rh negative, but now she is having the antibodies against antigen Rh due to first pregnancy. She is having the antibody. Now through the placenta, what will happen? Through the placenta, these antibodies will enter in the body of the fetus. Are you getting? Rh negative mother is producing the antibodies. Now, with the help of the placenta, these antibodies, they will enter into the body of the fetus. Now what will happen? These antibodies, they will cause the destruction of the RBC of the fetus, which may lead to anemia or jaundice, or it may even lead to death of the fetus. Is it fine? This is known as erythroblastosis fetalis. In the subsequent pregnancy, this will not happen in the first pregnancy. Okay, when there is delivery during the time of the first pregnancy, there is exposure of the maternal blood and the fetal blood. Fetal blood will enter into the mother's blood. Now the mother blood will start producing the antibodies. Now when there will be subsequent pregnancy, then these antibodies, they might leak into the body of the fetus. These antibodies, they will destruct the RBC. They will cause the clumping of the RBC, and as a result the child can get die. This condition is known as erythroblastosis fetalis. Clear? Now let us talk about the coagulation of blood, or I can use the term clotting of blood. Coagulation of blood. Now, if you have ever met through an injury, any kind of wound, then you have observed after some time the bleeding stops, and over that damaged area you can see there is a structure like that. There is a mash like structure. This you have observed if you have experienced any kind of wound, any kind of injury. After some time, you can see there is a thread-like structure over that area, and due to that the bleeding stops. This is known as coagulation of blood or clotting of blood, and this structure is known as a clot or coagulum. Now we have to study how this structure is formed, how the clotting of blood occurs. Okay. So basically these fiber-like structure, these thread-like structure, they are of fibrin. These thread-like structure that you can see, these thread, these are of the fibrin, and in between these fibrin, the platelets, the damaged platelets, the damaged formed elements, they are trapped. Okay, so these fibers are of fibrin, and in between these fibers here, damaged platelets, they are attached. Now how there is formation of this clot? Let us talk about clotting of blood. Now suppose there is a tissue that has been injured through any kind of injury, any kind of accident, or there is a wound. Let me take the example of the skin cells. Suppose here I am drawing the skin cells. Okay. Obviously the blood vessels are running. Right. Now suppose there is any injury. It means this area, it has been damaged. Now what will happen in the blood vessel? The platelets, they have been damaged now. Now these damaged platelets, they will secrete thrombokinase. This is an enzyme. Okay, they will secrete thrombokinase. And here you can see the cells, they have been damaged, or I can say the damaged tissue. This damaged tissue, it will secrete thromboplastin. This thromboplastin will convert into thrombokinase. Finally, thrombokinase is there. Is it fine? There is an injury. Due to that injury, the tissue and the platelets, they have been damaged. Now the damaged platelets, they will start secreting thrombokinase. The damaged tissue will secrete the thromboplastin, which will later on convert into the thrombokinase. Now, thrombokinase is there. Now the liver will secrete prothrombin. It is inactive. Prothrombin. Now this thrombokinase, it will act on this prothrombin. Okay, thrombokinase will act on the prothrombin and it will change into thrombin. That is the active form. Prothrombin was inactive. Now it has been changed into the thrombin, which is active. Now this thrombin, what it will do? It will go to the fibrinogen. Fibrinogen is again inactive. Now this thrombin will act on the fibrinogen and it will convert it into fibrin. Now finally these fibrin, they will go here and they will make the clot like this. Fibrin are the thread-like structure and the damaged platelets, they will get trapped here. And finally this cut, it will get sealed and the blood will not come out. Am I clear how there is clotting of blood? Firstly, from the damaged tissue, there is secretion of the thromboplastin that gets converted into thrombokinase. Then from the damaged platelets, obviously the blood vessel, it also has been damaged. From the damaged blood vessel, from the damaged platelets, again there is synthesis of thrombokinase. So finally thrombokinase is there. This thrombokinase will convert prothrombin into thrombin. Now this thrombin will convert fibrinogen into fibrin. Now this fibrin is active. Fibrinogen was inactive. Okay. Now this fibrin will go. It will make the thread-like structure over there, the damaged area. In between that, the platelets, they will get attached and it results in the formation of a clot or coagulum. Is it fine? Okay. Now, in this process, there are several clotting factors. They play a very important role. Calcium ion, it also plays a very important role. Okay. Now, next topic is lymph. We have discussed till now, we have discussed about the topic blood. Now we are going to discuss about the topic lymph. Lymph, its other name is tissue fluid or interstitial fluid. Now what happens basically, the blood is there, it is flowing in the blood vessel. Suppose here is a tissue, here is a tissue. In the tissue obviously cells are present. These are the cells. Clear? Now blood vessel will come. When it will go inside the tissue, you know that it will break into small capillaries. Some small capillaries. Suppose the capillaries are there, like this. Clear? Now listen, from these capillaries, in the capillaries blood is there. From these capillaries, some substances, they will leak out in the tissue area, in the space which is present in between the cells. Suppose here the cells are present. In between the cells, spaces are present. Now from this capillary, some substances will leak and they will get collect in this space. Clear? Water will come out. Other kind of minerals will come out. Larger proteins, RBCs, they will not come out. Okay, they will remain in the capillary only. But the water and the water soluble substances, they will come out. Here, lymphocytes. So they will come and collect in the tissue area, in the space which is present in the tissue. And now that fluid is known as tissue fluid because it is present in between the spaces, in between the cells in the tissue. Now here collects the tissue fluid. Its nutrient composition, mineral composition is exactly same as the blood is having. Clear? Because it is made up by the blood only. From the blood only there is leakage of the water, water soluble substances, lymphocytes, and they get collect in the space, and now it is known as the tissue fluid. Clear? Now this tissue fluid, there are lymphatic vessels. Lymphatic vessels. This tissue fluid or interstitial fluid or the lymph, now they will drain into the lymphatic vessel, and finally the lymphatic vessel will open in the larger veins. Clear? Now if I talk about the function of the lymph, there are lymphocytes, so they help in the defense mechanism. Clear? One more function is there in the small intestine. In the small intestine, lacteals are present. Lacteals are nothing but the lymphatic vessels. In the small intestine, lacteals are present. These are the lymphatic vessels only. They help in the absorption of fats. So this is again an important function. They help in the digestion, they help in the absorption of fats. Clear? Now, the next topic is circulatory pathways. Before that, let us talk about two types of the circulation, that is open circulation and closed circulation. There is open circulation, there is closed circulation. Actually, what happens in these two? Open circulation is present in arthropods, some mollusks. What happens in them? Actually, they are having heart. From the heart, the blood flows directly in the open spaces. They are not having any kind of blood vessels. Clear? The organs, they are directly bathing in that blood. So basically what is happening in the open circulatory system, from the heart, larger vessels will arise, and these larger vessels, they will directly open in the spaces. There are no blood vessels after that. Clear? But in the closed circulatory system, that is present in the chordates, in us, in annelids, what happens in this circulatory system? Blood flows in the blood vessels. So this is a properly regulated process. While in case of the open circulatory system, the blood flows in the larger vessels, which later on directly open in the space, sinuses. But here blood flows in the blood vessels. There is complete and proper regulation of the blood. Clear? Now, next is single circulation, incomplete double circulation, and double circulation. What are the meaning of these? If I talk about the vertebrates, fishes onwards, they all are having heart. But there is a difference. If I talk about fish, fish is having two chambered heart. That is one auricle and one ventricle, right? So what happened in case of fish? Fish shows the single circulation. Their heart is only two chambered, one auricle and one ventricle. Suppose I am drawing here. They are having one auricle and one ventricle. Now what will happen? Just think. Suppose the ventricle is having the deoxygenated blood. Clear? Now this deoxygenated blood from the ventricle, it will go to the lungs. This deoxygenated blood from the ventricle, it will go to the lungs for the process of oxygenation. Now the blood got oxygenated. Now that oxygenated blood will not come in the heart again. From the lungs only, that oxygenated blood will go to the body parts. Are you getting? Now the body parts will take that oxygen, they will use that oxygen. Now the blood again, it has been deoxygenated. Now the deoxygenated blood will again enter in the heart, in the auricle basically. So here you can just see the blood is passing through the heart only once. Just see here. So this is single circulation, and if you'll observe in the heart, only deoxygenated blood is coming. Oxygenated blood never comes. In the heart of the fishes, only and only deoxygenated blood comes. This heart is also known as venous heart. So this is a single circulation when the blood flows in the heart only once. Clear? The deoxygenated blood from the heart will go to the lungs, and then from the lungs, oxygenation will be there. The blood will become oxygenated. Now this oxygenated blood will directly pass to the body parts. Their body parts will take the oxygen, they will release the CO2. Now the blood will become oxygen. Now the blood will again become deoxygenated. Now that deoxygenated blood will come in the heart once again. So in the heart only deoxygenated blood is coming, that too only once. So this is an example of single circulation. Clear? Now next. If I talk about the incomplete double circulation, this we have discussed about the fishes. Now what happened in case of amphibians, reptiles, except crocodile? Okay, in amphibians, reptiles, except crocodile, they are having 3-chambered heart. Now what happened actually? Out of these 3 chambers, they are having 2 auricle and 1 ventricle. Suppose here is the heart of a reptile or an amphibian. They are having 2 auricle and only 1 ventricle, like this. 2 auricle and only 1 ventricle. That side is the right side. That is the right auricle. This is the left auricle. Left side always receives the oxygenated blood. Clear? Now, how incomplete double circulation is present in them? Just suppose from the lungs. Suppose lungs are there. From the lungs, oxygenated blood will come in the left auricle. Okay, oxygenated blood will come. Now from the left auricle, the oxygenated blood will go to the ventricle. From the ventricle, this oxygenated blood, not oxygenated actually, this blood will go to the body parts. Now in the body parts, that oxygen will be taken, CO2 will be given. Now the blood will become deoxygenated. Now that deoxygenated blood will again come back to the right atrium. Now the right atrium will pass that deoxygenated blood to the ventricle. Now here you can see from the lungs, oxygenated blood was coming. From the body, deoxygenated blood is coming. But the oxygenated blood and deoxygenated blood, they are getting mixed in the ventricle. So this is incomplete double circulation because there is mixing of the oxygenated and deoxygenated blood in the ventricles. You can just clearly see. From the lungs, oxygenated blood is coming in left auricle, but that oxygenated blood is coming in the ventricle. Now, from the body parts, deoxygenated blood is coming in the right auricle. That deoxygenated blood is again coming in the ventricle. So in the ventricle basically, oxygenated blood is also coming, deoxygenated blood is also coming. So it will cause mixing of the blood. So this is incomplete double circulation that is happening in case of the amphibians and the reptiles except crocodile. Okay. Now next. Double circulation. This double circulation is present in case of the crocodile plus apes plus mammals. Okay. Now, crocodile. This is important. A reptile that is having four-chambered heart, or a reptile that is showing the double circulation. This crocodile, apes, that is birds. Class of birds we have discussed in chapter number 4. Mammals, in this category we belong. These all are having four-chambered heart. It means they are having two auricle and two ventricle. And they shows double circulation. What happens in them actually? They are having four-chambered heart. Human circulatory system we have to discuss in detail also. So they are having four-chambered heart. Left auricle, left ventricle, right auricle, right ventricle. Now here there is complete separation of the oxygenated blood and the deoxygenated blood. There is no mixing. Oxygenated blood will come in the left side. Okay, suppose from the lungs, oxygenated blood will come in the left auricle. From the left auricle, the oxygenated blood will pass to the left ventricle, and from the left ventricle, oxygenated blood will go to the body parts. Now in the body, the oxygenated blood will now become deoxygenated. Now that deoxygenated blood will come to the right auricle. From the right auricle, the deoxygenated blood will come in the right ventricle, and then from the right ventricle, the deoxygenated blood will go to the lungs. Are you getting? So there is complete separation of the oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. They are not mixing. From the lungs, oxygenated blood is coming in left auricle, then left ventricle, then body parts. In the body parts, the oxygenated blood will become deoxygenated. Obviously, the body parts will take oxygen. They will give CO2. Now that CO2 rich blood will come to the right auricle, then right ventricle, then lungs again for the process of oxygenation. So these are the different circulatory pathways. Double circulation, single circulation. In amphibians, reptiles, there was mixed circulation. The blood was mixing in the circulatory system. Am I clear with the topic? Thank you.